Good evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Grant Olson is away tonight. I'm Jefferson Robbins. Here are a few of the top stories we have coming up for you on this fine Friday evening. A jail inmate gets more than 7 years after admitting to carrying on an inappropriate phone relationship with a child while he was held in custody. A warden man is dead after apparently throwing himself in front of an oncoming car about 5 miles northwest of the city. And the weather forecast calls for some quality time down by the river this weekend with clear skies and temperatures edging up toward the 90s. A motorist's phone call reporting a person had jumped from the George Sellar Bridge appeared to be mistaken, but not before it led to a full-scale search and a serious traffic backup. The Wenatchee Valley Fire Department says just after 5 p.m., a driver contacted Rivercom to report someone had been standing on the railing at the west end of the bridge and then disappeared, possibly leaping into the water. Several trucks, a search and rescue boat team, an aerial drone, and rescue divers combed the water near the bridge, which connects Wenatchee and East Wenatchee, but found no sign of anyone in trouble. The emergency work closed multiple lanes of the bridge and led to major traffic snarls on both sides of the valley during the evening rush hour. A man who carried on inappropriate phone and video calls with a 12-year-old child while in jail was sentenced Thursday to 7.5 years in prison. 37-year-old Kenneth Allen Crabtree was in the Okanogan County Jail in 2021 on trespassing and court order violations when he conducted the calls, which were recorded by jail staff. He pleaded guilty in Douglas County Court in April to 1 charge of sexual exploitation, 1 charge of communicating with a minor for immoral purposes, and 4 counts of violating a protective order that barred him from contacting the child. Once he's released, Crabtree must register as a sex offender, and East Wenatchee woman, 42-year-old Raquel Ann Langhurst, faces trial in July on 5 felony and 5 gross misdemeanor charges for allegedly facilitating the calls. Link Transit has chosen a new leader from within its own ranks. Nick Covey, the public transit agency's chief of staff, will become chief executive officer effective July 1st. Covey has been with Link for 29 years, including a long stint as its finance director. He's also served on the Columbia Valley Community Health Board of Directors, including 3 years as its president. The agency's board of directors chose Covey to replace Richard DeRock, who's retiring from the post after more than 20 years as director. Link Transit has served bus riders in the Wenatchee Valley since 1991. Well, tomorrow, Saturday, marks the return of a regular summer event, the 3rd annual Entiat Valley Makers Market. It runs the first Saturday of every month all the way through October at Kiwanis Field right off Highway 97A. Organizers Susan Kidd and Sophie Campbell told NCWLIFE's Dan Kuntz that each market day, with local goods sold by local creators, will be a little different from the one before.
Most of us, being individual makers, are constantly making different things. So even though it's the same vendors, it'll be different items. And then the food and the entertainment are going to be different each time. The Entiat Valley Makers Market started because there are a lot of people in Entiat who make wonderful things. And since the town was flooded by Rocky Reach Dam, there are very few retail outlets in Entiat. The first couple of years it was down in the Entiat Park and City Park, and it was on Friday evenings. This year we've switched it to Kiwanis Field, which is a much bigger venue and much more visible, and we're making it Saturday mornings, or Saturday from 10 to 3. And we've expanded it a little to include some makers from surrounding communities, but the Entiat Valley makers will be identified by these T-shirts, made in Entiat.
When we come back, a car crash in South Wenatchee leaves 1 vehicle on its side, but miraculously no major injuries. And Wenatchee's Pride Festival is back in full force in Memorial Park this Saturday. I'm Jefferson Robbins. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Did you know people 65 or older make up 12% of the U.S. population but consume 34% of all prescription drugs? Protect yourself and your aged loved ones from prescription errors. Always read labels carefully to avoid mistakes. Ask your pharmacist if over-the-counter medicines conflict with your prescriptions, and never skip doses or take more than is prescribed. This message sponsored by Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington. Call 1-800-572-4459 for prescription assistance.
Hi everybody, Dan Coos alongside Jesse Coble from Alpine Air. My heat pump there's like steam coming out of it. It's making weird noises. Is this something I need to be concerned about?
No, Dan, that's normal operation. Refrigeration technology steals heat from the outside, transfers it to the inside, and it creates frost on your heat pump. The defrost cycle melts that off, which creates steam and a little bit of noise.
That makes sense. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.
Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, located on South Wenatchee Ave, has the largest selection of spas and swim spas in town. Stay cool this summer in an artesian swim spa and use it all year long. We enjoy helping families reconnect one spa at a time. Hot tubs are proven to improve sleep and decrease arthritis pain. Our passion is water, so please bring us a water sample, and we will help you diagnose your pool or spa water for free. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, your pool and spa experts.
A Warden man died late Thursday night after he apparently jumped in front of a moving car on State Route 17. The Washington State Patrol reports that just before 11 p.m., 80-year-old Jose Valencia was standing on the northbound shoulder of the highway, 5 miles northwest of Warden, when he jumped in front of a 2009 Toyota Camry being driven by 53-year-old John K. Sharples of Moses Lake. Valencia was pronounced dead at the scene. Sharples was uninjured and does not face any charges. A mid-morning collision at a busy South Wenatchee intersection left one vehicle on its side today. Wenatchee police say just after 9 a.m., the driver of a Ford van ran the red light at Mission Street while heading east on Ferry. That van was then T-boned by an oncoming Subaru Legacy, which had the northbound green light, and it rolled onto its side on the southeast corner of the intersection. Police Captain Brian Chance said there were no major injuries, although one person was taken to Central Washington Hospital for a precautionary assessment. The driver of the van will be cited for their part in the accident. June is Pride Month, set aside to celebrate LGBTQ diversity and community. The Wenatchee Pride Festival returns Saturday to Memorial Park for the second year in a row. The 2022 festival was a return to form after the COVID-19 pandemic. Organizers say this year's festival will again feature live music, performances, and vendors throughout the day. Come nightfall, Wenatchee City Hall will also light up with Pride colors to celebrate the day. The event runs from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Well, up next, it's been a long time coming, but Leavenworth's Adventure Park, with its eye-catching alpine coaster, is open for business on a hillside overlooking the Bavarian village. You'll get a full view of the coaster experience, plus a word with the manager. And Dan Kuntz will be along with all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast, which calls for more of what you felt today, only hotter. That plus Eric Granstrom with sports still to come tonight. Please stay with us.
The Lake Chelan Rotary Club invites you to experience Cycle Chelan, held June 24th, 2023. Pick your thrill from 4 rides: the Metric Century Challenge, Cycle Divino, the Lake Loop, or the Butte Blast. All profits from Cycle Chelan are used to support student scholarships and other charitable activities of the Lake Chelan Rotary Club. Cycle Chelan 2023, a route for every rider. Pick your thrill today.
It's Click It RV's lowest price guarantee sale going on now at your neighborhood Click It RV.
Be a winner like me and get to Click It RV.
With 0 down and no payments till September, now is the time to own your dream RV.
Get to Click It RV now. Are you going to be mad, bro?
Get never before deep discounts on trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and motorhomes. Plus the best selection, highest trade-in values ever, and a lifetime warranty. Nobody beats the discounts at Click It RV.
I'm Richard Sherman, and we guarantee it.
On Frontage Road.
Celebrate the class of 2023 with the NCWLIFE channel. Join us Friday, June 2nd for Eastmont High School's commencement exercises live from the Town Toyota Center at 6 p.m. Coverage is brought to you by Apple Valley Honda, Confluence Health, JDSA Law, Merry Maids, and Mini Blinds and more. Celebrate the class of 2023 with the NCWLIFE channel.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. You can now take a ride on Washington State's first alpine coaster. The Leavenworth Adventure Park officially opened yesterday, and riders rejoiced at the chance to hop on and choose their own speed to enjoy the ride. The park features other attractions like a lion resembling climbing wall with multiple levels of difficulty, a bungee bounce trampoline, and a mining sluice for people of all ages to pan for gemstones. NCWLIFE spoke with General Manager John Sutherland about what the park brings to Leavenworth.
There's any type of mountain recreation you want to do in Leavenworth, and there's lots of places to eat and lots of places to drink and lots of places to shop, as you know. But you know, if you're not coming to necessarily go hiking or do stuff like that, there's not tons for kids to do and families. So really we kind of see it as the place that families can come and have some entertainment and actually see a great view and things like that. We wanted things to be interactive, of course, and so we have this amazing, you know, sculpted climbing wall, the bungee trampoline, all of which I've just seen around, and I was just trying to think of things that would appeal to as many ages as possible. You know, so, and then we have that mining sluice, which really kind of was intended for small kids, but everybody seems to love it because you find all these great rocks and gemstones and things like that. So it was kind of created to kind of get as much of the family or the groups as possible. Like the climbing wall goes from super easy to like really difficult. The Alpine coaster was manufactured in Germany, and they're all over Bavaria. So I could say that this actually makes it more Bavarian than it was before. And so this is a very traditional, I mean, it's thing to do to have these kind of small parks all over Bavaria and in Germany. So not everybody will like it, but I think it fits with what the town actually is, which is a tourist town and a Bavarian themed town. So similar to a regular roller coaster with a couple of significant differences. One, it's just a single or two-person sled, and you control your own experience. So while it takes you up the hill like a roller coaster, you actually get to control your own speed on the way down. So that's a huge difference. So you can make it like a really thrilling ride, or you can kind of create a nice, beautiful scenic ride because the scenery is kind of so amazing around it. So I also produce theater, and when I produce theater, one of the biggest pleasures to me is like watching the audience watch your show if they're enjoying it, and then here it's watching people have fun on something you created. It's just kind of a trip, really. You know, I love it. So that's the best part.
Time to check your forecast. It's going to be a beautiful weekend here. So, you know, some television stations, they just talk about the weather. Here at the NCWLIFE channel, we really talk about the weather. Beautiful view from Jump Off Ridge, of course. Don't jump off Ridge, by the way. It's a long fall down. Another beautiful day today, a little bit warmer than normal with our forecast afternoon high of right around 82 degrees, 54 for the overnight low, a little bit above normal on both sides of that scale. And as you can see, our snowfall to date, way, way down. We've had no snow for the entire month of June. Looking at you, Mac. In the meantime, you're going to see some very consistent temperatures all across the board as we take a look at tomorrow's highs. Everybody's going to be in the 80s, 85 in Ephrata, 85 in Quincy. Lake Wenatchee going to be in the 80s. Pretty rare for this time of the year. Omak, once again, leads the parade. They're going to top off at 87. Our friends up to the north. A warm, warm day. So what's going on? Two high-pressure systems. There's one right out there spinning around, blocking anything that's coming our way, and that includes the jet stream. Jet stream's way, way out of here, not even where it's supposed to be. And there's another high pressure ridge that's working its way from basically the eastern Montana right now, shoving its way over here, and it's going to park right around the Idaho-Montana border. So we got two high pressure ridges, one colliding into the other, and of course it's keeping all the bad weather out of us. What does that mean? We're done with the wind. Wind's all but 86, and we're going to have nothing but sunny and warm temperatures right through Sunday, and then we really start climbing up the scale. Notice no pressure gradients, no wind at all. Very mild overnight lows. We're going to start seeing overnight lows in the upper 50s to the mid 60s by the time we get to the early part of next week. And this could be, depending on where this high pressure ridge that's to the east of us, how long it sticks around. Now, the one that's to the west of us out in the Pacific Ocean is going to start going up and down a little bit, going to allow a little bit of clouds here and there. If there's any concern at all over the next 7-8 days, it's those pop-up thunderstorms, kind of like the kind that we had in May. That recipe is out there for that possibility, but those high pressure ridges are going to have to move, and right now they're not going anywhere, especially the one that's going to be consistently moving to the west and will be setting up shop right over Washington State by the time we get to Wednesday and Thursday of next week. So temperatures are going to be on the rise as far as record high temperatures. Possibility on Thursday and Friday after an abnormally warm May, one of the warmest Mays on record. June is off to a warm start as well. In detail, our unofficial high today, 82 degrees up at Paintball Memorial Airport, which is silly because nobody lives at the airport. 54 for the overnight low. Little bit of leftover wind on Saturday, no big deal. Going to be a gorgeous weekend with everything that's going on all over north central Washington. Mid-80s Saturday, mid-80s Sunday, upper 80s on Monday. Into the 90s we go Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Fire up the air conditioning, folks. You're going to need them. At your weather forecast, still to come, sports and more. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
The Mariners are in Texas to face the AL West leading Rangers in the first of a 3-game weekend series tonight. Seattle will send Luis Castillo to the mound against John Gray. The Rangers are off to a hot start at 35-20, while the Mariners are 29-27. Tonight's game at Globe Life Field in Arlington is just underway, and it's on Root Sports Northwest. Well, former Wenatchee Apple Sox pitcher Marco Gonzalez will get the start Saturday, and rookie Bryce Miller on Sunday. Miller has had an historic start to his major league career, which began exactly a month ago in Oakland.
This kid is really exciting. Bryce Miller.
Growing up, I mean, obviously I wanted to play professional baseball, but it never really came a reality until I got to junior college my freshman year. Once I started focusing on pitching a little more, things began to kind of pick up, and started to see scouts at the games and stuff, and I was beginning to have a lot of success. Success for me in the minor leagues so far has just been dependent on, am I over the plate and am I throwing my pitches to where I need to throw them? And whenever I do that, things really work out. Getting the call up is, the reason why we're all here, and once I get there, I want to stay there, obviously, and continue to have success at that level is really the main goal. I got to get there, and then I got to stay there and do my best to make an impact while I'm there. I was like, hey, what are y'all doing? My dad was falling asleep in the chair watching TV. I'm like, hey, I got some news for you. They're extremely excited. It's something that we've, been working towards since I was throwing to my dad when I was little, in the backyard, a dream come true. I was talking with Logan before, and he said, you only get one debut, so try to remember as much of it as you can and soak everything in. But You know, yesterday being the start day, was all over the zone, throwing strikes and getting strikeouts. So not much more I could ask for.
Did he get it? Yes, indeed. First big league strikeout. How about this start by Bryce Miller? 9 up, 9 down, 6 strikeouts. Only 3 balls have been put in play.
He had an outstanding major league debut, set a franchise record, 10 strikeouts, had 0 walks. He's only one of 3 guys since like 1901 to ever do that.
Just about all I could have dreamed of. You know, I came out and threw good. My family was able to be here, and I'd say I'm pretty happy with it.
Great experience.
Best ever.
One that we'll never forget.
Best ever.
I mean, it's a lot of hard work, and he had to want to do it, and he did, and it's paid off.
It's the best. I would take this over a gift any day. This is the best gift ever.
I want to play as long as I can, so I'm gonna come out and compete every day, and I'll be here as long as the game will allow me.
This young man went out and proved he believes in himself. He's got confidence when he steps out there on the mound. He's got a very great presence about him, very low key out there.
And again, the 0-2 on the way. Swing and a miss for strike 3.
He's got big time talent, and his command, along with the power pitching, is just a devastating combination.
Miller got roughed up in his last outing, but is looking to bounce back this Sunday against the Rangers. There was only one game in the American League West last night, and that had Houston beating the Angels 5-2. Alex Bregman's 2-run single highlighted a 3-run 5th inning for the Astros. Ronel Blanco won his major league debut for Houston, going 5 1/3, allowing 2 runs on 5 hits with 5 strikeouts. The Wenatchee Apple Sox begin a new season of summer collegiate baseball tonight on the road in Bend. Following a fan fest where players met Apple Sox fans last night at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium, the team boarded a bus for the 6.5-hour ride to Bend today. Wenatchee's trying to better a playoff run of a season ago in which they finished first in the second half standings of the West Coast League and made it to the semifinals of the playoffs. Tonight's game underway at 6:35. You can hear it with our good friend Joel Norman locally on Sunny FM radio. Tomorrow's game also at 6:35. They'll wrap up the series Sunday at 5:05. Wenatchee's home opener is Tuesday night at 6:35 against the Springfield Drifters. We'll have that game here live on the NCWLIFE channel starting at 6:30. We'll have more with Joel Norman next week on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Well, race fans will make their way to Fancher Heights starting, well, it's already underway for the big race coming up this weekend at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. WVSO holding the Wenatchee 200.
June 3rd, it's the $20,000 to win Wenatchee 200. It's a big money race, and, you know, to be honest, it's probably been about 2 years in the making to put this on. We were kind of aiming at doing something close to this coming off the COVID year, and then the COVID year kind of really put a damper in us. We've spent a lot of time working on sponsors, drivers. We have nobody else racing late models on that weekend in the Northwest, which really kind of helps us out as well. And we're going to go big. And we've spent kind of announced it back in October that we were doing this event. And it's been a lot of time of talking to drivers from across the country. And so far it's showing. We have some of the best drivers in the country coming to Wenatchee Valley Super Oval on June 3rd. And pretty much every, big name driver you have coming from the Northwest as well. I mean, I think right now we're somewhere around 26, 27 entries, and we're still a month out. These teams are going to come from all over, and they want to race here. Wenatchee's a great facility. And a lot of these teams are traveling. We have teams from multiple teams from California, Colorado, Texas, Canada, all coming in to race for this race, plus, Oregon, Idaho, Washington, Montana coming. But, the big thing a lot of times is, from those guys to travel, they're not going to travel for $10,000 or win, but you get $20,000 to win. And we wouldn't be able to do it without our sponsors that helped us out with it, like Plum Perfect, Hoosier Racing Tires. And so those guys have really helped make it possible for us to do this. And we're hoping that, we can grow off this event and make it bigger. I think the anticipation in the Northwest from the fans and the race drivers are really big. One of the drivers coming is named Derek Thorne. He's one of the top-ranked super late model racers in the country. He just won the Snowball Derby last year, which is pretty much the Daytona 500 of short track racing, and he's coming up to race that weekend. Plus, I mean, you just have every driver you can think of. Plus, we have a couple local drivers who are kind of coming out of retirement. Like Shane Mitchell hasn't raced a late model in about 4 or 5 years. He got a late model for this car. Brent Harris, who's a longtime racer in the Northwest, and right here from Wenatchee, he's getting back. I think it's been 3 or 4 years since he's raced a late model. And we have a couple other drivers who haven't raced Wenatchee in a long time, and they're coming back because they want to come race this race. And then on Saturday, we'll kick off with a all-day practice, and then qualifying. The top 20 cars will get locked in on time, and then we'll have a B main event.
Okay.
So the B main event can be really crucial. We might have 15, 20 cars in there, and they're going to go for 4 spots. Only the top 4 spots will make it into the main event. And then they'll race 200 laps. They'll go 100 laps. They'll have a break. They get about 10 minutes to change tires, put fuel in the car, and make any adjustments they want to make.
And this will be a very, you think, okay, 200 laps, but these are the very best drivers and the very best cars, so I'm expecting a very clean race. Even though it's only a quarter mile and there's going to be a lot of cars, I'm not really expecting a lot of fender benders. I would assume not.
I don't know if this is wood, but I'm going to knock on wood right now.
It is wood.
We have had, so far this year, we've had 2 late model races, a pro late model race and a super late model race. And there has been a total of 3 cautions and 250 laps of racing in those races. And one was actually a competition yellow. So really there's only been 2 cautions. And it's been really clean racing this year. I'm hoping that drivers are just like really understanding the cost of equipment that's going up, whatever, and being patient. But the racing's been great. It's just been really clean racing so far this year. I mean, our opening weekend, our Friday night event of the last 2 weeks ago, I think we had 3 main events, and we had a total of 2 cautions for the whole entire 3 main events, which is pretty impressive. And then Saturday we went, pretty much the same thing, not very many cautions. So the racers are either racing smarter or people are racing calmer. I don't know, but I think with $20,000 on the line, winning the race, the type of crowd there's probably going to be a few mix-ups here and there, but I think that the quality of racers we have coming, I mean, you start in the resume and you go through like, wow, every single person on that list has some type of big accolade to their career, whether that be in late models or something else.
Saturday for super late model cars with a purse of $20,000 on the line. The INEX Legends will also be there, along with the Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning Thunder cars. Here's a look at the schedule, which includes practice today. They'll have a kickoff party tonight to the Clearwater Casino and Saloon, or Saloon and Casino, if you will. Gates open tomorrow for fans at 4 o'clock, with the super late models qualifying at 5:30. Go to WVSO.com for more information and for tickets. As the racing season hits high gear at the Super Oval and summer collegiate baseball just getting underway, it's hard to believe we're a little more than 2 months away from Seahawks football. Seattle released details on its preseason schedule, which begins August 10th at Lumen Field against Minnesota. That'll be at 7 o'clock. Game 2 also at home August 19th against the Dallas Cowboys. Seahawks will wrap up the preseason in Green Bay against the Packers on Saturday, August 26th. Now, Seattle wrapped up OTAs last weekend with a concerted emphasis this offseason on improving the defense. The Seahawks were 5th worst in the NFL against the run last year, and defensive coordinator Clint Hurtt says that drum is beating loudly already.
Just being consistent. Consistency has been, really my name of the game for this whole offseason. The consistency with fitting the run game the right way. If I got to turn the football back, turn it back. If I'm fast flow spill, be fast flow spill. If I'm a cutback defender, let's do that. But it has to be down after down. There's a discipline to doing that. And again, that doesn't all fall on the players. Coaches, we got to make sure we hold them accountable to that too. And obviously cutting back the number of explosives. Control the run game, don't let people run the football on you, and cut back explosives, because explosives lead to points. You fix those 2 issues, you're going to have a dramatic improvement right there.
Seattle's hoping the return of Bobby Wagner after a season with the Rams will help bolster a defense that struggled last year. Coach Hurtt says it's great to have Wagner's leadership back in a Seahawks uniform.
No. I mean, obviously dealing with a guy who's like, he's the ultimate leader. So for those things, I wouldn't expect anything different. What I do appreciate about him is, and it speaks to how great of a person he is, very humble. Like, he didn't come in assuming anything, humble, and it's almost uncomfortable for me. I'm like, look, dude, like, we all know who you are, your work ethic, the kind of man you are, the effort you put into your everyday process, and the consistency as a player and how he prepares. But for him, he just wants to work and still earn it, even with new teammates. For me, that's beyond admirable. And for the young guys, I think that's a great thing to be able to learn. But for my expectations, in terms of him setting the defense up, his communication out on the field, and he and I be an extension of each other in the communication, it's been great.
Seahawks training camp will get underway the first week of August. Be very safe out there this weekend if you head towards the water. It's still cold, still rushing. Be safe. We'll see you on Monday, and have a happy Friday.
And that will do it for our newscast tonight. A reminder that tonight's Eastmont High School graduation at 6 p.m. can be seen right here on the NCWLIFE channel or anytime on our website, ncwlife.com, or our Facebook page. And all tonight's news and more is also available at those online resources. Remember, if you see news happening we'd still like to hear from you, you can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call 888-6295. That's 888-NCWL. I'm Jefferson Robbins. Until Monday, take care of each other and have a great weekend.